Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Lizzie. I just needed to share a few thoughts about Gollum from The Lord of the Rings. I just finished reading The Two Towers, which is the second book, or if you actually know the books, it's the fourth book because they each split into two. But I cannot help but relate to Gollum on so many levels. And really, it took me this far to get this far into the book series. I guess we're like halfway to really kind of resonate with him. And I never liked him in the movies. I was kind of stuck on the physical. Ooh, he's ugly. He's gross. You can't trust him. And then I just didn't have any sympathy for him. And so Gandalf has this moment that's pretty well known in both the book and the movies where he's like, you can't be the one to deal out death and judgment. And mic drop. I got that. That really sunk into me. I was like, okay, how many people am I judging? How many sentences am I putting the period at the end of where it's not mine to do that? Like people's stories are going on. Not that I'm murdering people, I would never do that, but just the idea of like there's more to other people's stories than even what I realize. And like even my actions of just like closing people out of my life, who am I to do that, kind of low key? I don't know. But what really got me thinking is that there's this scene in the Two Towers books where Frodo and Sam are just laying next to each other taking a nap. They're making it up the stairs of Cirith Ungol and they're exhausted. So they trust Gollum. He's brought them this far, and Frodo and Sam just lay down. They take a nap on top of each other. They're laying there all snuggled up. And Gollum has this moment where he comes and he looks at them and he almost has this moment of repentance and transformation of like that evil light in his eye fades. And he kind of just pauses and he just stands there and he's usually like weirdly like he's always described as climbing things and on all fours or he's jumping and he looks like a frog and he's just still. And that light fades from his eyes and he has this moment of like returning to that almost hobbit creature that he was. He's not technically a hobbit, but then the books say like if you looked at this scene from a distance, it would just look like three hobbits. It would just look like three normal hobbits just having a little nap, just taking a break. And this scene has stuck with me more than any sentence that I've read in that book so far. Like I have a massive list on my notes app of banger one-liners from The Lord of the Rings, and it's like probably 50 to 100 things on that list. Like it's exhaustive. And I don't think about any of those as much as I think about that literal moment with Smeagol, because as someone who's okay, Gollum is often described as like an addict type of character where you kind of do one thing and you try to escape it. Like you've made this decision. Gollum took the ring, he regrets it, and now he's kind of bound to it and he's held slave to it and he has to follow the urges of the ring. And that obviously is pretty relatable to an addict who's made a decision, they got addicted to something and now it's just out of their hands. They're just a slave to their past decision. Even if they don't want to do that today, if they don't want to make that decision now, the decision that they made years ago, months ago, is still holding them slave. So I look at Gollum and I see some of that myself. And I just watched Beautiful Boy, which is a phenomenal movie. I think it's a book too, which I have to read that, but the movie was phenomenal. And I think it's just like the combo of those two things. And then I've been on my journey of quitting pornography for like, I don't even know. I have to do the math. Since like 2017 or something, 2018. It's been a long time. And there's been ups and downs. It's a journey. Just like Lord of the Rings. When I see Gollum looking at Frodo and Sam there, he's having this moment of like, this is what I could have. This is what is just out of my reach. And he's probably remembering, he's probably having these flashbacks of those moments in his own life, because when he took the ring, he was with his best friend. They were having a great time hanging out, and then he ruined it and he took the ring and he was selfish, and it just started this big spiral in his life. And I'm like, I wonder if he's just looking at this and it's like so close, but it's so far out of reach, because when you're an addict and when you've made these choices, when you're slave to something that you're trying to escape, it's like not only your environment changes around you, the people around you change. Your attitude, your self-confidence, your hope in the future changes. So it's like the people that are like, oh, it's right there. Like, you could just leave the ring. You could have just destroyed the ring. Look at what you're close to. Like, look at these people you're with. You can just be like them. It's so far out of reach because your entire life and your whole mindset has shifted by your addiction. And it's like so close, but so far. And it breaks my heart when I read that. And what's interesting is, prior to this happening, in order for Gollum to lead Frodo and Sam through whatever this place is called, I guess they're in Mordor at this point, he has to swear on the Precious that he is going to not betray Frodo and Sam, because they know that Gollum still wants the ring for himself, but Frodo makes him swear on the Precious, on the ring. And I honestly think that time frame where Gollum has basically signed his life away to the ring, to be Frodo and Sam's slave, to be their leader, their guide, I think that he's kind of the most free during that part of the book and that part of the journey, because he's unable to use the ring against himself. Like, he's unable to utilize its power to hurt himself, to fall back into that. And I think that's also part of the dichotomy, is like, he's in such close proximity to the ring, but he can't use it. So that's also so close and so far that, like, he can't use it for the first time ever. It's that close to him again. It's in his grasp. It's in his reach. He could kill Frodo and Sam so quickly, so easily, and he chooses not to. And he has this kind of moment of freedom where it's like the weight of the ring is off of his back. Like, he doesn't have to worry about that for the first time ever. And then, well, not ever, because he lost the ring for a long time. So what I was talking about before, it's like everything is so close but so far. Your environment, everything has changed. Your attitude has changed. And it's not just an easy out, but sometimes you just need someone to offer that to you, to be that person to bridge that gap. And I almost feel like him swearing on the Precious was able to be that bridge where he could have that moment of just like, look what I've done. Look at how peaceful these hobbits are. Look at the life I could have had. I wish I never did that. You know, like, I wonder what's going through his mind. If he regrets everything he's ever done, if he regrets taking the Precious, or if he's like, I could turn right now. I could change. Because he fundamentally cannot change into, like, okay, behind the story, craziness, he's already gone to this giant spider, Shelob, right? He's already sold the hobbits to her, essentially. He's already made this plan that he's going to guide them into this lair and they're going to die. So he's like already signed, sealed, delivered on killing Frodo and Sam. And he has this moment of like, maybe I could not do that. And he's bound to the Precious. He's bound to the spider lady that he sold the hobbits to. But it's like, if Frodo was awake and Frodo saw that happen, maybe he would have woke up. Maybe he would have been like, hey, Gollum, I see what's going on. You don't have to do this. This is not the life that you need to live anymore. We could actually destroy the ring together and be done with this. You know what I mean? I just watched Beautiful Boy. I think I said that already, but it's like, people are in your life trying to offer you help, and it's like, you want their help so badly. You would do anything to get out of the situation you're in, and yet you're still choosing the situation you're in. It's like, I don't know, it's ridiculous. And then it's just that cycle of like, why do I do what I don't want to do? Every single day I wake up I do the thing I'm trying to quit. I act the way that I'm trying to not act. I say the things that I meant not to say. It's like, what am I doing? There's this book called Silence by Shisaku Endo. Phenomenal book. There's this character, Kichijiro. I have never thought about a literary character more than him in my life. He wrecked my life. I think about him all the time. The amount of journal entries I've started. I feel like Kichijiro. Today I feel like Kichijiro. Because Kichijiro is trying to help these people, these missionaries. Wow, this is actually kind of Lord of the Ringsy now that I'm thinking about this. He's helping them get through, I want to say Japan. And, he's like, the missionaries are trying to convert him. So he kind of converts and he helps them, and then he goes back and sells them out. And he keeps apostatizing. I think that's how you pronounce that. So he's hot and cold and hot and cold. He's there and he's gone. And he's on your side and then he's against you. And it's like this cycle over and over. And I just felt like him so much with trying to quit pornography, trying to pursue God better, and just trying to be a better person. Like everything I've ever done, I feel like has had a cyclical time to getting on the right track, which I guess is just the process of habit forming. But especially when I was really, really deep in some lifestyle stuff and some things that I don't want to talk about, I was like, this is how I feel, where I'm hot and I'm cold. And just watching another person live through that in a movie and in a book, it just totally just took over my mind, where I was like, this is me. I'm this person. And I'm kind of getting flashbacks to that with Gollum, where I'm like, I see how painful that could be, where you're just doing something you don't want to do anymore. And you're actually hurting people that you've grown attached to. And you kind of see them for the first time in a new light, and you're like, what am I doing? Like, I'm not even just destroying myself, I'm destroying you in the process. And then Gollum can't escape. He's already signed the papers. He's already done. And I just so badly wish that someone could be like, hey, Gollum, you don't have to do that. Like, you don't have to do that anymore. We can destroy the ring together, and it'll be okay. Because I guess if someone told me, like, if someone offered me two options where they go, hey, here's the path without addiction. Here's the path that you never fall off the rails. You just get on the track and just go. I guess I would take that, because in my mind, that's like everything I'm striving for the better part of 7-8 years. But the time that I've spent on that path, trying to get back on track, messing up so many times, hating myself, learning, growing, that is invaluable to me. Like, that's the struggle that makes me who I am, I think. I don't know how I would have gotten the knowledge that I have today without having those experiences. I don't know where I would get my perseverance, my literal hope for the future. Like, everything I am today is based on previous decisions that I've made, including addiction. The addiction that you have today is based on a decision that you made at some point prior. And you probably didn't decide to get addicted to something. It just happens. And I'm trying to have this big redemption arc where I think of my life as a big story, and it's like I'm going on that path. It's, I'm doing well, and then I crash, and then I make a wrong turn, and it's all upside down. But these characters don't even have a big redemption arc, which is so disheartening, because that's the reality of so many people's stories. And I want to have a redemption arc. I want my life to be up and up and up the entire time. Is that realistic? No. But that's why I always try to grow and learn and reflect on, like, all of my wrong decisions, all of the things that go wrong in life, the things I hate about myself. I try to reflect on that and grow, because I'm like, let's at least make this a positive. Let's at least get something good out of this. And that's ultimately why I can say, I wouldn't choose that path that's perfectly clean. I wouldn't choose the path where I made the right decision every time, because I got my knowledge. I became who I am from all the wrong turns. So I don't want to be bound to anything in the way that Gollum is bound to the ring. I don't want that type of freedom where, someone is taking control of me and saying, no, I have this out of reach for you. Like, I don't want to be babysat into living the lifestyle that I want to live. I just want freedom from that, Like, I don't want that ever again in my life, where I'm like, decisions I'm making are hurting me, decisions I'm making are hurting other people. And that feeling, like, I've had that Gollum moment so many times, where you just have that moment of clarity. Like, maybe that's when, like, somebody's trying to quit alcohol, they pour it all down the drain, they have this moment of hope, of self-confidence that, like, I'm gonna do the thing. And it's just this calm before the storm, because chaos ensues afterwards. Like, quitting anything is not easy. And I feel like I've had that moment where I look at things, I'm like, I'm so close. I am right here. I could make a decision. I could make it or break it. And 50-50, I don't know, more often than not, I make the decision that breaks it. But then life goes on. And then everything is calm and everything is good. And I'm like, doing great. I'm doing amazing. I don't know. It's just like that moment with Gollum, and just that line of, like, if you looked at them, they would all look like they were just normal hobbits just hanging out. Like, that just totally broke me on the inside. Because it's like, how bad does Gollum want to be that? How bad does Gollum wish that he could just be a normal hobbit again, that none of this ever happened, that he could be an actual good friend, be sincere in his desire to actually destroy the ring? His guidance, like, he could lead them down actual correct paths and make the right turns and protect them from danger, use his knowledge to actually help them, instead of lead them into Shelob's lair. All of this is flashing through Gollum's mind in a split second, and I'm here thinking about it for 3 weeks. So I'll leave you with that. Have a good night, guys. Love you.